Hi, Lunatics Collective. This reading is for August the 22nd, 2019, for any and all signs. This is a little late in the day to be recording it, but we are going to look at the whole day, and then hopefully this time, tonight, I will be turning right around and doing the LunarPull for the 23rd to get us a little bit ahead, so it's more of a preview instead of a review. But for some of you, it will talk about things that haven't happened yet. Time being fluid, these LunarPulls can always be about the day that they're recorded on, or it can just be a message that needs to come out that day for whatever reason. And it could actually be about events occurring on the surrounding days, the following days. That's how they work out for me. Beautiful. The Two of Shells, the Two of Cups, Chalices, the Two of Water comes out covering us. Union and harmony are noted in this deck, the SpirtSong Tarot deck. If you are interested in this deck or any of the decks that I use in Lunatics Tarot readings, you can just scroll down to the description box below where you can find more information. Before we get too far into this reading, I want to say thank you so much to those of you who do like this video, who subscribe to the channel, who comment and share. Thank you for all tips and donations to the channel. That is greatly appreciated as well. And if you are interested in a private session with me, just scroll down to the description box below and you can find information, links, as well as my email, LunarticksTarot@gmail.com. Interesting. Okay. So crossing this union and harmony that I told you came out to cover us is the Five of Air, the Five of Swords, the Five of Feathers in this deck, which can talk about fights. So I do see the potential for a fight within a union, a couple that does belong together, but there is a disturbance, an argument, a disagreement, a verbal fight, or a mental battle in one of the partner's minds regarding the relationship. But in this particular deck, strategy and resilience are noted. So this can also just be talking about needing a strategy, needing a plan for how to communicate with a partner so as to avoid a potential fight or not repeat a verbal argument scenario that maybe took place recently. With the Six of Earth on the bottom of the deck, and it being in reverse, I do get the feeling that someone in this relationship, in this bond, this partnership, is giving more than the other is. And yet we also see the Love card upright just underneath there, choice and trust, echoing the message of this union and harmony on the Two of Shells for me, saying that this is indeed an equal partnership. these two energies are worthy of one another. And it's not necessarily a romantic partnership, but it absolutely can be with both of these cards showing up. It can also be you getting into bed with someone in business, a collaboration at work, a partner on a creative endeavor, a roommate, a family member, a friend that you have a particular, specific, certain type of partnership with. But someone here at this time is giving a little more than the other is in some respect. That might be what's causing the fights, or it may be saying that within the communication in the relationship, someone is really giving time to figuring out how they can best communicate, or time to making sure a communication is handled delicately, diplomatically, whereas the other is not working on those areas as much, right? For in some instances, for others it could be other things that are imbalanced. Finances could absolutely be that finances, material matters aren't balanced. And so with the Two of Cups and the Love card both showing upright, again, I do think it is an equal partnership. I do think that it is a bond that does have trust, rightly so. It looks like if you are considering or interacting closely with already a Leo, they are living in their shadow side a little bit at this time. If you're specific, don't get too hung up on the signs, and there's so many different messages that come through, but that's just for those of you who are specifically dealing with a Leo. And I hate to say dealing with, but it does look like you feel like you're dealing with them. In that case, they have some shadow aspects that need addressed. What are the shadow aspects of Leo? And once you've answered that question, then what can you do for your specific partner? Do those shadows apply to them, right? You'll know. But we aren't all dealing with Leos, right? We do all have Leo in our chart somewhere, so maybe that needs to be addressed for the collective. shadowy Leo aspects as we move out of Leo season into Virgo season, maybe. I know about astrology. I know I am dabbling in astrology, and I'm interested in it, and I know my chart, right? And I could help someone get acquainted with their chart, right? But I wouldn't, I'm not at a point where I would charge for astrological readings yet. I haven't studied enough, and it seems it is obviously a lifelong pursuit, right? So I'm trailing off, but I'm telling you all this to explain that when I drop a little bit of the signs like that, I only know so much, right? So that is to say, that is all to explain to you that those messages are totally intuitive. I pick up some things about astrology, and I know a little bit, but a lot of the people that I've met through creating this channel, other creators and people who comment, know so much more about astrology and teach me about it and help me continue my process of learning. So when I say things like that, it's a completely intuitive message for the Lunartics Collective, just to, help keep you straight, because I'm sure, hear so many tarot readers and mystics, and a lot of them are also astrologers as well, and so their messages are a combination of an analytical knowledge of astrology, and then that combined with their intuitive messages. Mine are mostly intuitive messages with what I know, and as I grow in astrology, just sprinkled in there, right? So, but this is saying that message to me, that if your partner happens to specifically be a Leo, then in this case, or if you want to look into your own Leo aspects as we move out of Leo season and into Virgo, then that's where the issue lies. But otherwise, these look like equal partners who are just having to having to work through something, having some issues with communication, having some issues with fights, verbal battles, and connected in some way to this imbalance where someone is giving more, but it just looks like someone is giving more at this time. It looks like both are worthy, both are able, both are equal. But of course that's going to happen in any relationship, divine or otherwise, equal or not. That even when two people are equal in measure and capable of being one another's partners, that there will be times when one has more time than the other, one has more money than the other, one has more ambition than the other. Just came through. Stamina is another, is in your advice. Of course, why didn't I look to the advice position? That stamina covers this. You're being tested and needing to find a way to have stamina through this period. You're building stamina together, and it looks like you're both determined. It looks like you're both determined individuals, but the one who doesn't have as much time or money or resources or energy to give to the relationship at this time, it may be because they embody this queen of fire that came out for us, this queen of acorns, this passion and creativity. They may be chasing their dreams and very inspired and very influential, but often the king and queen of fire will have great ideas, but they're not the best at executing it. And that's why they really have to socialize and network in order to get others to help them make those dreams a reality, because they are inspired and they have the drive to move things forward, but often need help with the mundane aspects of say building a business. They need help with the structure, because they are flitting and flowing and flying through the air and moving like a flame, able to reach many different individuals, influence many different people in many different ways, but also at the same time needing to do so in order to delegate those tasks that they just won't see through on their own. Like I said, especially the more just mundane and structural elements of taking an inspiration and then birthing it into the world, right? So whereas I say both energies here are determined, one energy is also determined about their passions outside of the relationship, and maybe both of you, but certainly one. And that may be where the imbalance is. As I said, it can be that one has more ambition than the other. The message is going to differ slightly for all of you. For some of you, this partnership does have to separate, because then we see the Nine of Crystals. We see security and abundance, and I see independence. So for some of you, this is just the security and abundance noted here, but for most, I feel like we're talking about someone finding independence through this, moving into independence as a result of this. I really... I'm just going to say it. I really get the feeling that these two energies are going to come back together. Yeah, and I have a lot of physical confirmation about that as I say it. I think that's true, because it doesn't feel like they are truly parting. Their emotional bodies, their souls don't feel like they're parting. It feels like they're together throughout the reading, and they don't want to part. But there's some imbalance happening. And maybe not in what one and the other is able to offer to the relationship, maybe just in what they have, like I said, money, time, ambition, fill in the blank. But I think that they actually, in a lot of cases, they actually need this butting of heads, right? This fighting, this miscommunication or foul communication, this obvious imbalance, to lead them to separate places so that they can find, for one of them, financial independence, for the other, emotional independence. Because we have 2 9s. 99 may be particularly significant to you around this time if the message is resonating. And that can be, I'm not going to go into it because I'm already taking way longer than I thought with this, but so many cards came out. So I'm not going to go into my explanation of 9s, but if you're familiar with the tarot, maybe it means something to you in connection with that. If not, you may want to look into 99. If this already is resonating with you, that could be an additional message for you if you're wanting more after we finish this reading. It may resonate specifically with you, or there may be a general, what do they call them, angel number. There may be like a general angel message that resonates with you. So that may be something to look into. But I also see 2 queens here. So this is likely a partnership of 2 divine feminine energies coming together, or we see a fire sign and a water sign perhaps, so like a Sag, Aries, Leo, and a Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces over in the outcome. And of course these can be 2 different shades of one individual blending together, of course. It can also be an individual finding a way to harmoniously form a partnership with a platform, or a new subject matter they're studying, or a new business that they're investing themselves into, right? That can be the partnership. So take it how it resonates, of course. But I do get the feeling, you know, if that, whether it's a business partnership, a familial thing, or a romantic partnership or otherwise, I do get the feeling that the more feminine, emotional, watery, so if there's a water sign in the scenario, again, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, but the feminine emotional aspect of this partnership is going to be the one that has to blend them back together once this financial and emotional independence has been achieved. And for some of you who resonate with everything else in the message but think this sounds like a committed partnership that in no way is falling apart anytime soon, maybe it is literally just needing to take a little space from one another to find to reconnect with your financial and or emotional independence, right? Ultimately, with peace, compassion, gratitude, and fulfillment all in the outcome here, with the Queen of Cups and the 9 of Shells here, the Queen and 9 of Water here. I do see you being very grateful for these lessons, for this time. As I said, it is about showing stamina in some type of partnership and determination. It just may be that currently, for some reason, you know, one partner has the stamina and the other doesn't. And I really think that ultimately you're going to see that I think it's the partner who needs some time to find their own emotional independence, that thinks that they have the stamina, when really this time apart will show them that they needed to find independence in a certain way as well. Like I said, it just may be that one has to also be determined about something, one or both have to also be determined about something outside of the partnership as well. And so, you know, just to explain it simply, in order to finish the race, they need to take a break for a minute. They need a water, they need a breather, right? That is ultimately going to show stamina in the long run, but there's just need to find this sense of independence first. Interesting, because a similar message came through earlier for, I believe it was Pisces. So, but we are actually under a Taurus moon still. Is that right? I think it maybe has moved to Gemini at this point, but I'm not sure. I will note that in the description for us, though. So that said, I hope the needed insight was able to reach you, and I love you, and I will post another lunar pool for us as soon as I can.